Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft, and today I'm bringing you another of my page kits. This one I designed to go for the dining around the world hop, and this is a sports layout with circular elements representing Iran and Nan-e Berenji, which is a bread. So we need at least 3 round elements, and it should be a sports theme. Well, this is my daughter when she was 3 at a gymnastics field trip with her school. So you can see I have some inks I've selected and a whole bunch of primary color papers, or primary and secondary color papers, and I'm going to go off and cut circles out of all of these papers. So we're going to jump ahead here. And I'm going to select one that I can do a big circle out of, and then small circles out of the rest of them, and even some of the photos I'm going to do in circles, a couple of them. So I was thinking about that title. This was from a swap, and I was going to put it on the side originally, but I want to be able to tuck a photo in the top of it, as I'm showing you here. So here I'm showing you I just used 3 or 4 different circles, and then I didn't have a circle cutter for the big one, so I used a plate. I grabbed a plate out of the kitchen, drew around it. It worked perfectly. So I have 2 items on here that are swaps, and I'm just taking a look. I did this layout so that I could take a look and see where do I need to ink splotch. So that was my plan. I'm going to ink splotch under the paper to help tie the papers into the white background. So I'm trying to keep things on their correct pages, set them aside. Oh, I have 3 embellishments. Those are my 3 main embellishments, and they are all from Ginger's Corner swaps. So if you haven't done a swap, I really encourage it, because I've been able to really make use of them on a lot of pages. It's so fun. So I just have a product bag. I'm smushing some ink. I should have started with the lighter inks, but I didn't. I started with the blue, and I'm just going to smush it on there. Ordinarily, I probably should have started with my yellow and then my orange and then my blue, but it works out fine. It doesn't get muddy or anything. So I'm starting with 3 splotches. I do come back and add more. So just smush it on, splash it with some water, put your little acetate glove on, and go to town. And you don't really seem to get fingerprints. It does come out pretty natural, and you can get different looks by how wet it is, or so I'm going to start with these 3, the rule of 3s, but I don't really end there, because once I lay down the papers, I decide to add a little bit more. So I did spend a lot of time on the just the die cutting, but the parts of the video where I'm doing it, it didn't take that long. I was pretty pleased with it. The page came together. Having those embellishments already made, having the idea in my head that I knew I was going to do a bunch of circles, it just made the page go a lot faster. So if you're struggling and doing a lot of hemming and hawing, is what I call it, on your pages, try making a page kit, having sort of a little bit of a plan. And even if you go away for several days and then come back to it, you can make that page together pretty quickly. Even if you change direction a little bit, it doesn't seem to matter. It still happens. So I've got some open space there in the middle, so I'm going to think about what I want to do with that. And this is only sped up 2 times speed. So I'm just looking at them. How are they going to sit together? What's going to be where? And I'm feeling like I need some more orange. And I want some things going off the edges. When you're doing mixed media, I think that really helps, is that it goes under some of your embellishments or photos and comes out from under. It goes off the edges. If you're trying to do an all over look like this, it does, you don't want it all in the center of your page. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to finish up my mats. I did some thinking about where I wanted colors based on what circles I had. I'm trying to space out the colors because they are, everything is so bold. So I'm trying to make sure that things, that it still has some balance, even though it's so busy. But, it was at Gymnastics and they did a whole bunch of different things. So it was a busy day for them, these little 3- and 4-year-olds. I'm just checking that it's dry before I start ruining it with stuff. So here I'm like, oh, look, I want different colors at the top. So this is where I'm like, oh, I need some blue here and blue here. So I'm going to add a little bit of blue to each page. So when in doubt, add more. So it was feeling a little not blue enough there. I'm like, okay, fixed it. Excuse my head while I blow on it to try and get it to dry. So just going to finish matting. So all of these are old Creative Memories photo mats. I have thousands of them. I do try when I make page kits to go there to pull papers to use here because I have so many of them. Probably need to find a way to donate those to school or something. And some of these papers, this paper is pretty thin paper, and then some of the other is cardstock, but this is from a basics paper pad, so it's pretty thin paper. And I'm trying to overlap and underlap some of the photos. For the round photos, I did in one of them I didn't, but I did a white mat and then a red and then a colored mat. So some of those are triple matted. All right, so it's coming together. And my goal here is to make sure that you can still tell it's a circle, but I'm able to position the photo where I want it. It probably would have been easier had I printed some of these photos smaller, but these, I had a lot of photos to print, so I just sent them to Walgreens and got everything done 4x6 and then trimmed where I could trim to fit them. So my plan is to use this little embellishment here that I have that has the little, that's a little round tag as a journaling spot. I am going to end up cutting the top of the tag off. That was a recommendation by one of my friends at the retreat. She thought it looked like too much like a Christmas ornament with the little tag hole at the top. So here I'm just trying to find auditioning pieces, trying to find the last piece. This one I decide I can take off just a little bit more. Again, just like with the ink splotches, I'm trying to make sure that a couple of the circles go off the page as well. And I'm also using those to set off the photos. And once I get these sort of set where I want them, I will go off and stick everything down, and then we will come back for some final looks. So I have some little wordy bits that I pulled actually from a school sticker book, because this was a school field trip. And so one says field trip and a couple other things. So a few little school related and in the matching colors. I did also pull these little flags off. I end up not using them. But I had a file tab. I think I might use that one. So just some small things. There's so much else going on the page that I decided I didn't need a lot of other shapes. I had pulled some, you can see up above on my desk, there are some little star stickers. So I add those and I sort of leave it. Now I could have added some more die cut stars, and I chose not to. So let's just trim, now that those are sealed off, we'll just trim off the edges. So I felt like the page was busy enough and I didn't need to add a whole bunch of stars, even though I have that one with the tennis shoe on it, which I think is so cute. And it's appropriate, just in case you didn't know it was a sports layout. This did not look very straight. I like that picture tucked in under the top of that title. I think that looked cute. And then I've got this little boy. I have a little girl, but I was able to fit this little boy on this page because there are lots of kids in the photo. So I have a journaling spot, and I fit, I think, 8 photos on this 2-page layout, so that's pretty good. Here I'm just adding some of those little stars. Just sprinkling them around. And I think I do that and not enamel dots. All right, we'll take a look at these things up close. And I hit 500 subscribers, so I'd encourage you to maybe scrap lift me, post a comment, share me with your friends, and we will see you tomorrow.